Hi everyone, Christine Harrington here, the Savvy Sales Lady, and I am back with the UK Wonder in Sales and Training, Simon White. Good to have you back, Simon, to talk about objections today.
Lovely to be here as always, Christine.
Well, you know what? I'm going to set the stage a little bit, Simon, about this, and this is kind of how I perceive objections, okay? What I see a lot when I am coaching and training on objections is what drives their fear of objections is the fear of rejection.
Yeah.
And when you have a fear of rejection, that just means that you are feeling needy as a salesperson. And this is the single reason salespeople long for the magic words. And I hate to tell you, folks, there are no magic words to handling objections. There's none. You know, objections are a sign of a lack of trust or a lack of kind of painting a clear vision of the prospect's pain in order to help them make a better decision. And that's what your role is to help them make a better decision. So when you try to come about objection with the mindset of overcoming the objection, with that type of strategy, what you're doing is you're making the other person wrong for that decision. So that is that's a lose-win or a win-lose, whichever way you want to look at it, scenario. And what you're really shooting for is a win-win situation. So you allow the other person to say no to your offer, and that I know is counterintuitive to what you've learned in sales. But when you invite a no response, you really now can dig down into what is causing that no response. So how is it that you allow a no response in a sales conversation? Well, I'm going to give you an example. And Simon, I'm going to use you as my example, and then I'll hand it back to you, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So the example is, if I was cold calling you, Simon, or if I had an appointment to meet with you, Simon, I would say something like, you know, Simon, I have no clue if what I have to offer you in sales training and coaching has any relevance to your business. I just don't know at this point. So I don't know if you need help in training or not. And if you don't, it's okay to tell me and I'll be on my way.
Yeah.
But if whoever handles your sales training needs help or may entertain the possibility of maybe we have something that we can work together on, then would it be advantageous to you, I, and your sales trainer to talk further? So in that scenario, you're not just asking for a no, but you're setting the stage for them to feel comfortable to say no. And when you make it comfortable for them to say no, you make it comfortable for yourself to say no to their offer too. So how does that align with the way you train on objections, Simon?
Exactly the same as every video we do. It's exactly the same. Yeah. It's very disarming to a prospect when you let them know that they can say no. I put it on a lot of prospecting emails. I will often write, feel free to say no, you know, and then carry on with what I'm saying. In terms of cold calling as well, I'll often say, I don't know if this is going to be relevant to you. I don't know if it's going to be relevant. It probably won't be. I don't know if it's going to be relevant. So absolutely the same. And we are scared. There's a lot of it is to do with the way we've been brought up. You know, don't talk to strangers. That's why people don't like cold calling, and don't interrupt people. That's why we don't like interrupting senior people in businesses and all this sort of stuff. But also it's part of that fear of rejection. It's no different to dating and walking up to somebody in a bar and asking them if you can buy them a drink. We don't want to be told no. So we'll stand with our mates in the corner and want to go and talk to that person, but don't, you know. So yeah, it's very disarming to do it that way that you've described. It's a really, really good way of doing it.
Whenever I call my friends, Simon, I always, start the conversation with, "Hi, Janine, is this a good time to talk?"
Yeah.
And so often, even in cold calling, we see that salespeople just launch into their pitch. And what you and I believe, really align with is that it's not so much a pitch, it's a conversation.
Yeah.
And the fear of getting these objections or having the magic words to say to make them turn them around so they see your point of view, that is manipulation, not managing an objection. So when you get an objection, you have to think back about, where did I go wrong on this? Because if you haven't established trust, they're going to have an objection. But I know you have differentiated between the objections from a serious objection, and I think you call it a heckle objection, because I've never heard of that over here.
Okay. I thought, to be honest, I got it from you. I don't know where it's come from, but heckle. So a heckle would be something like, "Oh, I'm too busy," or "We've got no budget." That knee-jerk reaction where it's not really an objection, because they haven't thought about it deep enough. An objection, a true objection, comes further down the sales process, where you've gone deeper, and now they're raising genuine concerns, where when they raise it, you can then work through it together to see if you can overcome it together. But yeah, I like to make that distinction, because often when you're cold calling, you'll get the heckle objection. "Oh, we're too busy. Oh, we don't take, not necessarily we don't take cold calls, but we're happy with our current supplier." All of that kind of stuff, which may or may not be true, but at that point, that you've not qualified whether it's true or not. But a genuine objection later on in the process, we're concerned that this isn't going to be compatible with our so-and-so systems. That is a genuine concern, and then you can work through that properly. I think a lot of objections, and a lot of salespeople may not realize this, are actually the salesperson's fault. It's not the fault of the prospect. And as salespeople, we make a lot of mistakes. We might talk too fast, or we might rush through the steps of the sales process. We might skip steps in the sales process because it's coming up to the end of our financial quarter, and we want to get the deal in, so we skip some steps in the process. We also, one of the mistakes we make is by not addressing the objection. An objection gets raised, and we kind of pretend it didn't really happen and continue, and that will come back to bite us further down the line. You've got to address it and show respect to the prospect by doing so.
I bet you have done this, or have been in this situation just like me, where your sales manager comes to you and say, it's a week before the end of the month. What can you close right away? Yeah. And that's forcing the sales process, as you said.
Yeah.
And usually that puts you in a no-win situation too. But I would strive for people to not look at the issues and concerns as an objection. They're just ways to problem solve in order to help the buyer make a decision. And I really think that's a key through the whole process. Does your process align with helping the decision maker make a good informed decision? And when you create him a vision of what it will look like without your help, that's probing into the pain that it may be, or that he may not have actually realized that he has. Do you see it that way too, Simon?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you need to establish very early on, do they have a problem? Do they want to fix it? And do they need your help to fix it? And can they afford to fix it? And if you've established that, then you've got their buy-in to help them through any concerns or problems, barriers you might have in that sales process. If you've established that early on, that they've got a pain and they want to fix it, then that's really important.
Now that goes back to qualifying too, doesn't it?
Yeah. If you haven't
Absolutely.
qualified them enough at the beginning, then you might get loads of objections because they're not really serious buyers.
Yeah.
They're just playing the game with you, which they, wasting your time and wasting their time. So it all comes to everything we do in this in sales training, all links in. It's asking the right questions so that you can qualify it, so you reduce resistance and objections. It all carries through. Yeah.
Well, those are all good points, Simon. And we had talked that we would make a shorter video this time for you, and our time is up. It's hard to believe 10 minutes has gone by already. This may end up being a little over a 10-minute video, but stay tuned, and I'll have this up and posted as soon as I can, and we will be back to help you solve your sales problems. Simon being a coach in the UK, and I'm here in the good old USA. So stay tuned and look for our videos, and we'll be back.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye, Simon.
Bye-bye.